I think of Amelia Island, you know, when you come over that bridge, you see the marsh and the water. I personally see color. So I see the greens and the browns and the blues, and it's magical. We have an unbelievable sunset over the river here, and just the colors alone. I mean, sometimes, you know, that informs the arrangements that we're able to make, especially when we're doing event florals and stuff like that, like pulling in that color. To me, Amelia Island is definitely all about color. Every day I would say that I wake up and start thinking about the flowers, you know, what needs to be harvested, what needs to be planted for the day. But because we're also a retail florist, you know, thinking about orders that need to go out, what colors are blooming, what flowers need to be put together for the customers. So I would say it's a maybe quasi-unhealthy relationship and obsession with flowers, because I think about them all the time. And when I'm not here, I'm thinking about what needs to get done here. It's a very big piece of, you know, my life, our family's life, but it keeps us grounded and rooted, and I think that that's a really important place for us to be. So growing up, we always had gardens and plants and flowers. They were such a big part of our life. Like I remember distinctly as a child, you know, cutting daffodils and putting the food color in the water and having that drawn up and being so intrigued by that, popping the little pods on impatiens and things like that. So, you know, that was always a big piece of what we had growing up. My mother was a master gardener. Our yard was always sort of a showpiece, and, you know, it was a good foundation. And then I spent, you know, 2 decades in retail operations, and that was my career. That was, you know, I was very good at that. It was very detail oriented. It was process, policies, procedures, and all of that. About 10 years ago, moved on from that, and I would say was a little bit unmoored as far as what I was going to do, and found a more creative outlet and passion, and that's where flowers came back in. Painting flowers, making very detailed flowers out of crepe paper and things like that to sort of bridge this gap of kind of coming off of a very right brain career, but looking for something that was definitely more creative. So in 2019, we moved here, and like I was saying before, I felt very unmoored as far as the relocation and not really sure. You know, while I had signed up to move to Florida, I wasn't 100% sure that that was the right fit for me. We got here in the fall, and it didn't feel like fall. It was hot, and so like the difference of seasons really had me sort of sad and confused. And so I was looking for something that I could dig into that gave me a sense of purpose versus just moving here and trying to figure it out later. And that's really where the idea of this business came about, is growing flowers, bringing flowers to our community, which would then root me back in the community. And I thought that that was a really important thing to do. You know, farming is not easy, and it takes a lot of space, and we're obviously doing it here on a unbelievable micro scale. But the ability to be close to where I live, to be close to the customers and the people that would ultimately use my flowers. I mean, sometimes farms are, you know, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours away from the end product and the end customer. And that wasn't really where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in the community, growing them. And then that organically turned into making flower arrangements and bringing the flowers to the people in a way that they could really appreciate. I would say from a customer perspective, the things that we hear the most, which is this great intersection with flowers, is that it's magical. Like coming to our farm feels very magical. It also feels very aspirational. You know, I think people have this vision that we're here almost recreating an English garden. I mean, sometimes people think that we live here. Like, do you live upstairs? Is this your kitchen? All of those things, I think internally to me are very, very funny. While it is very, very magical and it's very aspirational, it doesn't feel those things for me. People think we just hang out here and admire the flowers, but being here for us is work to get that beauty into the hands of our customers. So my mom's here. She's been here for about 1.5 years, 2 years now, and she's an integral part of this business. We would not be able to grow it and do the things that we would do without her. She likes to say that she's behind the scenes, but so many people know my mom and know of her, and you know, we go to markets and people ask where she is. So that's great. You know, I would say like any family dynamic, there's that dynamic sometimes when tensions are high and things need to get done. But all in all, it's gratifying, it's fulfilling. You know, I spent decades not living anywhere near my mom, so the ability to sort of bring that back around at this stage for everyone is great. You know, I think that she calls it dirt therapy for her, and you know, in that whole vein of blue zones, I think we're probably creating a situation where she may outlive us all, which is may or may not be a good thing, but it's great having her around, and really at this stage would not be able to do it without her.